Hello friends, it's Trevor, it's Avery, it's Pat, it's the citywide special. The Phillies exit the playoffs with a whimper as the bats go cold and the bullpen implodes against the Mets. Who should shoulder the blame for the lackluster performance? Is the window of contention closing? What changes need to be made in the offseason? The Eagles look to rebound after the bye against the Browns on Sunday. A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, and Lane Johnson are expected to return. Sidney Brown returns to practice. Can the Birds right the ship? Would a loss put Nick Sirianni on the hot seat? The Flyers begin their season in Vancouver on Friday. Jett Luchanko has officially made the opening night roster. The Sixers begin their preseason with a win over some team that plays somewhere. All that and more coming up right now. How's it going, fellas?
Miserable, depressed.
It's going bad.
Yeah, it's just bad. I mean, weather feels great, obviously.
It has been pretty nice this week. Yeah.
But, man.
That's the price we pay for this nice weather.
It's just, what's funny is that I wasn't feeling optimistic about today anyway with the Phillies game, but then as every Philadelphia playoff team does, they give you a tiny little glimmer of hope, and for a brief moment you're like, you know what? Maybe they could do this shit.
Maybe it could happen.
And then right when you get that feeling, it's quickly taken away, and then that's about it. Just another day in the life of a Philadelphia sports fan.
Yeah, that impending sense of doom is always there, right? You can think about how far back do we want to go? We can go back to the last game at the Vet against the Bucks. That impending sense of doom when Joe Juravicius, remember him, has that big play against us. As soon as that happens, you're just thinking, oh, it's over. Or we'll jump ahead to, we'll call it 2011. The last game of that era of Phillies baseball. Yeah. You just had the impending sense of doom. The Phillies just couldn't score. Roy Halladay pitches his ass off. He leaves the game. Ryan Howard, Chase Utley comes up, hits a deep fly ball. On a better day, it's out. Then the next inning, Ron Howard tears his Achilles.
Yeah, that was almost poetic right there.
We can jump ahead to, let's call it 2019. Yeah, the Kawhi shot.
Yeah, the bounce off
the Kawhi shot. That whole series, every time Embiid leaves the court, they just get destroyed. They were minus 90 in that series when Embiid was off the court. And then as soon as Game 7 rolls around and they pull Embiid, the Raptors score like 10 points, and after that they're ahead. The Kawhi shot happens, and that's that. And then
I don't know the year time frame, but the Ben Simmons pass, the Carson Wentz concussion against Seattle, the Alshon Jeffrey drop against the Saints that turns into a pick. Like, one catch there, and you could be going back to the Super Bowl that year for a repeat, but a weird, uncharacteristic drop over an easy pass. Carson Wentz tears his ACL. We get the miracle with Foles, but for an instance...
That worked out for us.
But for an instance, that impending doom was like...
We've been paying for that ever since.
Yeah. It's
like,
that's exactly what it is.
That was the most monkey's paw thing in the world. Never gonna... The sports gods are never gonna forgive us for that Eagles run.
No. Well, we didn't let the world forget it either when that happened.
Yeah.
But,
I mean, it's kind of on us, too. The sports gods are rubbing in our face a little bit, I guess.
Embiid...
Yeah. Like we still have about another 50 years of heartbreak until the Philly special is fully paid off.
Yeah.
Jeez. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. We continue to count all these instances. The Sixers and that Celtics series. You blow them out, Game 5.
Hell, even the Union.
Oh, I was going to get to them. Yeah, I was going to get to them.
That was a trifecta weekend. We lost the World Series. We lost the MLS Cup, and we've got, I think, bounced out of the playoffs. I think there was like a 3-game right? Wasn't
the Union and the Phillies lost on literally the same day. Yeah, that was hellish.
Yeah,
but I don't know. So where we want to begin here?
Well, let's bury the Phillies.
Obviously we got to start.
Yeah, we can just put a hatchet in them, put a fork in them. What do you put in them? A knife?
A fork. 6 feet. Put a fork in it. The last nail in the coffin.
Bury the hatchet, I think, is the...
I thought you buried the hatchet.
We're not burying the hatchet. That's when you're over it.
Yeah.
That's like
when you're squashing it.
Yeah, you're in a quarry.
The hatchet is out and ready for violence.
Someone has to get killed for this.
We're throwing the hatchets at a number of people.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I guess we'll start with the number
of people. A lot
of
of blame to go around.
We could backtrack first. I mean, all intents and purposes, Ranger played his ass off.
Hats off to Ranger.
He had an incredible
gutsy performance.
For how bad he was in September coming into the postseason, I think, statistically. Not terrible, but not his best from what we've seen all year. I mean, he got out of himself many a jams. Yeah. I mean, multiple bases loaded, no outs, sometimes 2 men on, 1 out. And you're thinking, oh, man, this is it. Like, the game's over. But... put the ball in play in the right spot, or who would get them on the, curveball was slinging tonight.
Yeah, Ranger now has the 4th best ERA in postseason history, which is pretty wild.
I mean, he steps up in the playoffs.
Yeah.
I feel like, not going to lie, the top 3 aces.
The starting pitching was fine.
Yeah, they all look great.
Even like Nola, he kind of like,
the bullpen let him down
a little bit there, but that game was certainly not his fault.
No.
He gives up a couple of solo home runs. That's kind of what you expect.
That's
out
what
of him,
Nola's bag is.
But he did pretty well otherwise.
Yeah, game 1 you have Wheeler.
When you have Wheeler pitched one of the best games ever,
30 swinging strikes, the most ever since they started keeping track.
Postseason start. Yeah.
And you could point the finger at the rest of the bullpen too, where they they come in and give up runs. But when you're in the postseason against the hottest team coming into the playoffs, the aces can only go so far. I mean, Wheeler had 100+ pitches. Ranger was already pushing to 100. I think that you want to expect...
the fact that Ranger even went out there for the 5th, it was like, that's more than I was expecting to get out of him before the game started.
So I think that, I think the bullpen could have been a little bit more, together and probably better performing. However, we weren't getting necessarily fully blown out every game. Had the offense had one good inning before the 8th or the 7th, you feel a little bit more confident. But, it's a 1-run game half the time. This bullpen's getting called in, and the stress is
the fact that the offense was so bad just puts that much more pressure on those relievers. If you have like a little cushion, you're going out there feeling good.
3-0, okay, you feel okay. But 1-0...
Yeah, you just feel like you can't make a mistake. Tonight when they, hit that grand slam, it's, under normal circumstances, like, okay, we're down 3, we got 3 innings here.
Right.
But given how they've been playing, it's just like it was over.
No, and they only scored that 1 run the first time because they got walked twice. So it wasn't even.
They had 1 hit in through like 5 or 6 innings.
It wasn't even like we were getting on because we knew we were getting after the pitches. I don't know what they were looking at. JT looked lost the whole entire time. Trey Turner looked like ass the whole entire time. Even that one we were texting about it too when he almost overthrew Stott.
Yeah,
he almost had a huge fuck up when he was trying to get that double play. Thank God Stott is kind of...
Stott had to jump up to get it. Still got the double play.
Yep, barely though. You're asking for either someone to get rolled up on or overthrow or just do some kind of weird pee-wee baseball thing where everyone's running the bases again. Like last night, all those wild pitches.
Yeah, that was the theme tonight too, all those wild pitches. But, yeah, I hear you guys, hear what y'all saying as far as the offense let them down. The bullpen definitely isn't blameless in this.
No, I'm not saying that.
In a 4-game series, right? Yeah, in a 4-game series, the bullpen allowed 16 runs.
Yeah.
That's 4 runs a game your bullpen's allowing. You're not going to win many games if your bullpen's giving up 16 runs. But to your guys' point, the bullpen was put in a tough position because every situation they're coming in is extremely high leverage. Bases loaded, runners on second and third, nobody out. Bases loaded, 1 out. Bases loaded, 2 outs. A guy on first, nobody out. It's hard to pitch like that over and over again when you have so little margin for error and the offense isn't giving you anything. And really, this offense, outside of Casty, Harper had his moments. No one really showed up. Turner looked lost. It looks
terrible.
It looks so bad. JT's washed. All right.
Schwarber had that one great start, and that was it.
Yeah.
He went MIA.
Yeah.
Never gave you that pop. Never gave you anything. He had so many infield balls that would just die. It's like, this is not what is going on over here.
Yeah, it's just...
Baum could not catch a fucking break to save his life.
I'll get to him. I will get to him. Austin Hayes, what the hell did that guy do the whole time he was
speaking of him, I feel like maybe we should start, top to bottom here. Right. First enemy here, Dave Dombrowski, not good enough past couple of years. These trade deadlines... Fair. You're I understand that everyone wants to hold on to your good prospects and this and that, but you're trying to win a World Series, and the best you can give us is fucking Austin Hayes, his white whale, fucking Austin Hayes that he's apparently been trying to get for 3 years or something. Like, yeah, that guy was really awesome. And you know, Estevez, who I is fine as a bullpen piece, but it's like you needed something bigger than that to really like push this team over the edge. That, you know, the outfield's still very mediocre.
Well, it didn't help that when you brought in Austin Hayes too, he goes out for 2 or 3 months with the kidney thing. So you're like, all right, well, that didn't even
before
he went
out,
off.
He wasn't anything to write home
even
about.
If he was half decent, at least he was playing. Like, he had no chance to even. I'm not defending him. I'm just saying that, like, okay, that's the guy you want to bring in, but he didn't even produce because he wasn't on the field. It's weird
crazy stat that I didn't realize until today. He has not drawn a walk the entire time that he's been in a Phillies uniform.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's nuts.
I was looking at his baseball reference page.
Given the fact that he did lose some time there, but I mean, holy shit, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, his on base percentage was .275.
Yeah.
That's terrible. Horrible. He had, 2 dingers and 6 RBIs?
Yeah.
And we traded for him in July, the end of July?
Yeah.
And he couldn't do anything more than that? Ugh. So,
terrible.
Yeah, so if we're starting at the top, like, Dave Dombrowski deserves a lot of blame. Topper's not blameless in all this either.
Yeah,
his bullpen management was horrendous.
It was bad last year in the postseason with him relying too much on Craig Kimbrell, and it was clear that he didn't have it.
What's his infatuation with Jose Ruiz, yo?
That's insane. Yeah, I don't understand that. Tonight, I think, was the most egregious.
To leave Hoffman in?
Yeah, what the fuck?
After you warmed him up, like 3 times, 4 times?
I can like throwing him back out there for what was that inning, like the 6th, I guess. Okay, fine. Like
6,
put him out there to see if he can get a batter out or two. But the fact that they didn't have anyone warmed up and ready to go, like when the inning started, is just completely inexcusable. It's just crazy. I don't understand that at all.
Yeah,
that's just like. Yeah, basic shit. It's the playoffs. You gotta have someone ready to come in.
You give Estevez bases juiced.
One
out. That's
he almost walked in a fucking run.
Right. Yeah.
And like first batter, he should have been out after the first batter. You knew that he did not have it. He was all over the place. Could not find the strike zone. The fact that you did not have someone ready to come in is just total malpractice.
At the meat of the Mets lineup, too.
And for him to say yesterday, it's all hands on deck. Everyone's available, other than Wheeler.
He said that same shit, though, last year, too.
Yeah, I mean,
we're ready to put in Wheeler. We're ready to put in whoever else.
You mean to tell me like Chris Sanchez couldn't have been in there?
Right.
Couldn't have had Kirkring been warming up, Estevez been warming up.
Yeah, or like God forbid, like even like Alvarado, just like someone should have been warming up.
Right.
You should have had
Alvarado was toast last night. I wouldn't want
I'm just saying, like whoever it was is beside the point. Someone
right.
should have been warming up. Is the real egregious
before
thing.
It got to where we were.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so he's not blameless. Also, like lineup construction, understand benching Bohm. We'll get to Bohm shortly. But to bring in, I was going to say Jorge Sosa, Edmundo Sosa, who just looked awful in game.
Mm-hmm.
What was that, game 2? I don't even remember what game it was. I felt like he was pulling all the wrong strings and none of the right ones the whole series. The only right string he pulled, or he pulled a couple right ones. The biggest right one he pulled, though, was letting Wheeler pitch the 7th and get his pitch count way up because he was dominating.
Yeah.
That was fine. That was cool. Everything else was just, he was managing just from a glove compartment. I don't fucking know.
Yeah, it's bad. And I don't think Kevin Long is to not be blamed either.
Oh, absolutely not.
I mean, I think if anybody has to go, I think you're kind of tied to Topper. I don't think he needs to go, but I think Kevin Long has to go.
Yeah,
because it's the second postseason in a row. Mismanagement of the bullpen, whatever. But a lot of the times when the bullpen gets mismanaged, the game is still within hand. And we're talking 5th, 6th, 7th inning, and the top of your lineup, who's the biggest pay of your team, is going 0 for 25, 0 for 30, 2 for 27, whatever they were at. I mean, that shit can't happen. Yeah, and they're swinging that shit that they've been doing all year. Yeah. Like, there's no adjustment.
I get the fact that hitters get hot, they get cold, but you at least have to give some instruction on like changing the approach. You know, like there were just so many quick outs in the series, like not working counts,
and especially in the postseason, you're not going to swing out of it in a 4-game series. Like you need to tell them to step up in the box, step back in the box, choke up. I don't know, like do something. They can't just keep sending them out there and be like, nope, we're committed to it. They'll swing out of it. No, the fuck they won't.
Yeah, I mean,
everybody and their mother knows what they're going to swing at. They love low and away, or anything off the like. They love that shit. A sweeper, a slider, especially Casty and Trey.
Yeah,
and they don't have any eye for that kind of pitch.
I feel like this was exactly where we were last year after the NLCS. Trevor and I, you did that pod, Pat. I think you were on vacation. But yeah, we talked all about just how much the Phillies chase.
Mm-hmm.
And their offensive philosophy did not change at all.
No.
Like, you could make the case, this was a case that a few people have made. Matt Gelb had made this case through the first two games, or through the first game and a half. It felt like it was games 8 and 9 of last year's NLCS. Just the same approach, same pitiful chasing, swinging at everything. And it got better for game 2, those last couple innings. It seemed like they found themselves. Then yesterday, it was just right back where they started. Today, it was just right back where they started. Yep. And yeah, it's just, I get it. Some of these guys are career-long free swingers. Like, Casty has always been a free swinger. Casty had a good series. I'm not even mad at him.
He's good in the NLDS. He had terrible numbers last year in the NLCS.
Yeah.
He was 0 for 30 or something like that.
I'm not here to complain about last year right now. I'm here to complain about this year.
Yeah.
And Casty was fine this year, but everyone else chased. Harper chased. Schwarber, he didn't chase too much. Bohm chased.
Mm-hmm.
Trey Turner, ugh. If you look up the word chase in the dictionary, you're going to see a picture of Trey Turner swinging at a pitch 10 feet off the plate.
Yep.
Chases everything. Good God, JT chasing everything. His bat speed's just not what it used to be. He's washed. But it's just one after another. Like, everyone has the same plate approach. And we kind of lamented this when they let Rhys Hoskins go. Rhys was the one guy that, you could rely on to have a patient eye. He didn't have the best batting average, but he would work in a bat. He would almost never swing at something that was out of the zone. He would swing and miss a lot, but it'd usually be at pitches in the zone. It's just, they don't have anyone on this team right now other than Schwarber, who bats leadoff,
right,
that really sort of evens the lineup out. It's just a bunch of pull-happy guys, chase-happy guys, and
I kind of think this whole...
especially like going into the series, the Mets had to play that wild card series, expend a lot of their bullpen. One of the big advantages we had going in was that their bullpen's been used a lot, and they've been kind of shaky or whatever, and you want to get to that bullpen, and they just played in a way that made it so easy for them.
Yeah.
They just completely squandered every advantage they had in that series by just swinging and getting quick outs.
Yep.
Yeah, not to be all like boomerish and all this, but one of the things that made that the 07 to 2011 Phillies team special is they would work in at bat.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. In those playoff series, they would come into a playoff series and be like, okay, you got your starter in. We're going to work in at bat. His pitch count's going to be 90 by the 4th inning. He's going to be out of the game. Then we're just going to gut your bullpen.
Yeah, everyone,
like Chase Utley was like the king of working in at bat. Yeah. Jason Worth was great at it. Like,
Victorino and Rollins could when they really focused on it.
Yeah.
Howard would come up and just mash dingers once the bullpen was in and everyone was tired.
Well, that's one of the downsides, too, of, like, I almost don't understand anymore, honestly, of having Schwarber at the number 1 spot, because, like, I feel like a lot of those opportunities where he does get a good hit, even going back to last year, just his career overall, is that, like, it's just a one run. Like, there's no opportunity, and a lot of the times this season they had Rojas and Sosa in the back end, which weren't really, even Pache for a little bit. They're not getting on base, or rarely get on base. You know what I mean? Like, you need to have your 4 spot being the guy that's going to be able to get that pop in there.
I mean, I guess the problem is they don't have anyone good to bat leadoff. They don't really have anyone that's a good...
Well, we haven't tried it in 3 years. I mean, since Schwarber's been here, he's been the guy, which is fine. And I take the stats. He's a great hitter. It's worked out, and that's okay. But there has to be a change. You're keeping most of these guys. You got to move someone around. I don't want to see Schwarber at the top of the lineup again like that in the 1 spot.
I don't think as many people as you think are going to be back are going to be back. You just can't. You've run it back with this core 3 years in a row.
Yeah.
You have to change something.
Yeah.
I think Schwarber's under contract.
I was pulling up Cott's contracts before we started.
Schwarber's under contract until 2025.
Yeah, he's under contract for 1 more year.
Yeah. All of the core guys are locked.
Yeah, they're locked in for 1 more year.
Contract doesn't mean you can't try to trade him.
Yeah.
No, but...
I mean, there's
either
some guys that are like,
okay, fine. Let's say you move someone out of here. Maybe you move whoever, JT or whatever you want to move out as one of the core guys. But like, I still think you got to put Schwarber out of the number 1 hole, and you got to figure out who's going to be that new guy to lead off, because you need to get someone on base, not just a home run or bust kind of guy. And Schwarber, if he does get on base in the postseason, that's an easy money double play target. He ain't going to run that shit out, and he's not going to steal. Like, it's kind of it's a boom or bust for your number one spot. It puts us in a bad hole.
I don't mind Schwarber batting leadoff. A lot of teams do that where they bat their best power hitter leadoff. The Dodgers lead off with Shohei. Look at the Mets. Lindor killed us. He batted leadoff. A lot of teams do that now.
But they're younger. Also, I'm not comparing Shohei at the one spot with fucking Schwarber at the one spot.
I'm just saying, like...
That's Shohei also almost led the league in steals. A lot of teams will look at his base running, too.
But teams will bat their best hitter leadoff regardless, because it's more at-bats.
It's just who can get on base.
Also, Schwarber gets on base a ton more than Trey Turner. Who's going to bat leadoff on this team?
I think they got to try something else different. You have all season to figure that shit out. Leadoff? Hey, that could be Rojas. I'm just saying. Before I blow up the team, that's one of the things you got to figure out. I think you fire Kevin Long and you sort that shit up. Because that rotation is not working. And pitchers are just owning that. Consistently. I mean, after the All-Star break, it was like nothing. There was multiple games where the top four guys are going 0 for 2, 0 for 3 to start the game. Meanwhile, the other team's chipping away at Wheeler and Sanchez and Nola and getting them to high pitch counts and things like that. And we're not doing anything. They're just striking out.
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't think that's a product of batting Schwarber at leadoff. I think that's a product of Turner striking out in 4 pitches.
Well, yeah.
Right? That's a product of Harper not working good at bat. Casty's a free swinger. You're never going to change that. That's a product of Bohm. Bohm really sucked, dude.
He was bad.
He's throwing tantrums after every out.
I know, crying.
Look at this, dude. Look at this. Well, this is... Where is this? So, this is some Alec Bohm stats from a Matt Gelb article. Bohm hit 170, 204, 298 in 49 plate appearances from September 14th when he was activated from the injured list to the end of the season. Then if we take it a step back farther, he hit 238, his OBP was 268, his slug was 361 from the beginning of August until season's end. Going back even farther, from May 23rd, he batted 255, OBP was 303, slug was 407. In his final, basically 399 plate appearances. So over 2/3 of the season, he was below average. I guess these days that's average, but as far as like a guy you drafted in the first round, 4th overall pick, that's what he's giving you in his prime. That's terrible.
And a sub 100 average too in the playoffs.
Yeah. He was 3 for his last 37. And you had to sit him a game because... I guess it was after game 2, he had seen 5 pitches in 4 at-bats or something ridiculous. You just...
Swinging.
So, yeah, I mean, as far as like the Phillies' window of contention, I kind of made this claim before the season. For a while, they made me look bad. I was saying before this season started, I think the window's closing.
Well, I think it makes sense. I mean, you look at where they left off the last 3 years, right? They lose in the World Series. They lose in the NLCS. They lose in the NLDS. Like they're literally on a closing chapter here.
That's how the 07-11 team went.
There's no uptake. There's no consistency. Like, oh, you lose in the NLCS every year. Okay, at least we know we can get past this level. No, we've consistently. The only consistency here is just losing, and losing further back. Yeah, I don't know. I think there's just a lot of wrong here with this team.
Yeah, I mean, I think the issue is you have Harper and Turner. They're here. And Harper hasn't really shown that rapid of a decline. I mean,
I'm not worried.
I'm not worried about Harper.
He's gotten a little banged up here or there. But
I'm over the theatrics, I think.
Harper's going to produce. But yeah, I mean, you figure we said Schwarber's here for 1 more year. You got Cott's contracts pulled up.
Yeah, Schwarber's under contract
Casty's
1 more year.
for 2, right?
Casty's until 2026.
How long's JT?
Till 2025, 1 more year.
Okay. But think about
pretty much it. Like everyone else is kind of.
Well, then get him a solid backup. Get rid of fucking.
But no, I mean, think about this, right? So Schwarber's here for 1 more year. You're probably not bringing him back after that. He's going to be like 33, 34.
Unless he has another, decent enough year where he's hitting dingers, I guess. I mean, he's just DH. He's not.
Yeah, but
he's not really doing anything.
He hasn't really declined.
Yeah,
he actually got better this year.
He's not fielding. He's looking okay.
Now you have that DH.
But maybe another team sweeps in and pays him a good chunk, and you don't want to
he's got a house here too. Like he's probably. I mean, I don't know. I see him where he could just stay here until he's done.
We'll see. I mean,
or at least pushing it to when he's done. But
money talks. But yeah, so Casty. He's here for 2 more years. At the end of that second year, he's going to be 34, going on 35. You're not bringing him back to play right field.
No.
You know what I mean? JT, did the Phillies have a catching prospect to replace him? No, they traded the only one, Logan O'Hoppe, for Wet Brandon, who hasn't panned out.
Yeah.
Like, I love Wet Brandon, but he's a part-time player, dude.
Yeah.
You can't rely on him. Stott, another first-round pick that has been okay, but not great for the pedigree.
He definitely regressed this year.
This year he was awful.
Yeah, he was bad. He regressed this year a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at the cumulative last few years. But yeah this year, if you just look at that, not good. Boom, all-star, and then was a paper tiger. Was just a butt, dude. And I think Bohm needs to go. He's sitting here throwing tantrums every time he makes it out.
I think if you're going to make a move to shake up anything on the team, right? I mean, the core guys, as much as we want to complain, aren't going anywhere. And I get ages, whatever, but they've brought these guys in. Like, we're stuck with Trey, Harper, Casti, JT, and Schwarber. I don't
think we're stuck with all of them.
I don't think we're losing them. I think if you want to make a move, hold on now. I think if you want to make a move to bring in anything else, you got to get rid of some of the young guys, whether it's Stott or Baum, anybody like that. Those are the pieces that you're going to see move to get somebody else in here to add to this lineup.
Yeah, no.
The ownership is not going to let those guys go.
I wouldn't mind Boom going. I wouldn't mind Stock going.
Those are the two guys that are going to be having to get out of here and get the fuck rid of whatever his name, Stubbs too. Get his little bitch ass out of here.
I think Real Muto, it's a contract year, right? He's an expiring contract. They could move him conceivably, right?
With a solid backup, but who the fuck are you going to put in there?
I don't know.
Stubbs is not your number one.
I don't know. Maybe
you gotta have a contingency plan for that. You gotta have a backup plan for that before you let him go.
He's washed.
He's maybe as a bat.
Well, you know who becomes a free agent this year? Jorge Alfaro.
Let's bring him.
Bring him back.
He's washed too. How old is he now?
I don't know. I mean, he's not good either. So.
How old is he? He's got to be damn near 32.
I don't know.
Well, he's butt though. Yeah, I mean. They have too many.
Who's the other guy though that's not behind Stubbs?
Marchand.
He was actually not that bad. Marchand wasn't too bad.
I don't think he's an everyday catcher though.
Yeah,
but
like I said, you're not in a stable place to like. As much as JT was unreliable at the plate, he's still a great catcher when it's come down to playing the position that way. I think so.
All those wild pitches he gave up tonight.
I don't think that was all on him.
Some of them weren't on him.
A lot of them
had
were
some
not
good
on him.
stops. I still think he's fine defensively. Yeah. I'm not worried about that. Like, it's just that he's not really bringing you.
I think this is your emotion. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, it's a long season. He's getting old. But I think you can't just rip the Band-Aid off because our backup plan for him is terrible.
I mean, to that point,
Stubbs ain't going to be stepping in there playing fucking 90 games. I do think
it's at the point where they need to start not playing him as much. Like, he's not like a,
That's why he's getting hurt.
Yeah, I'm okay with that, but bring in, get rid of... You can't just get rid of JT and give us Stubbs. Like that's going to be even worse.
Oh, I'm not saying Stubbs will start. I don't know what they should do. But my point at the end of all this is that this feels an awful lot like 2011, right? Like by the end of that run, we had Ryan Howard, Chase Utley, Jimmy Rollins, Victorino, Worth. Those guys are all in their early to mid 30s. We're sitting here saying Cassie's in his mid 30s, Realmuto's in his mid 30s, Harper's in his mid 30s. I think that like that window is closing pretty quickly. The pitching, you have Wheeler signed until he's 37, Nola signed until he's like 40 or something. Chris Sanchez is young; he'll be good for a while. But even that's not unlike 2011, where you figured you were going to be able to rely on Halladay, Lee, Hamels, and Oswalt. The only one that even lasted much longer beyond 2011. Was Hamels. Oswalt was gone the next year. Lee wasn't the same pitcher a couple years later. Halladay, the very next year, started to decline. Shoulder was falling apart. Got addicted to painkillers. His career was shot. Not saying that Wheeler's going to end up addicted to...
His career wasn't built to last that long either. I mean, the way he pitched, he was a very aggressive...
He was intense,
and a deep, deep inning pitcher.
Wheeler's also very intense, right? Like, not saying Wheeler's going to... mess his back up and be addicted to painkillers, but for pitchers, that decline
kill himself in a plane.
That decline can happen in the blink of an eye.
I'm not ready to say that the whole team is going to crumble down and
I'm just saying I think the window's closing. The window's closing.
I know. You've been saying that all year, and I'm saying
that people think.
I'm not disagreeing with you. However, I think that there's an opportunity to try to boost it back, maybe tamper expectations for next year. but they have a very short window to right the ship, but the ship is not going in the right direction right now.
Yeah.
So you have the pieces that could get you there. You got probably one more year with age being a factor, with contracts being a factor, but you got one more year to really make a big push. And then after that, it's done. So this year they couldn't do it, and it sucks, but we're not all surprised. It is even more painful that it happened to happen against the Mets. Fuck you, Tito. But,
Tito from the tailgate.
Yeah, but it is what it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, they're going to have to...
You can't fix everything in one offseason. So you either have to make some trades and let go of some young prospects and some other young guys that were promising, or have someone take one of these contracts that you've paid a shit ton of money for and get some good value for it, or you focus on adding to your bullpen, but you're not going to be able to address everything that's happening. A coach going and a new piece might help, but, I would say that Kevin Long has to get out of here.
Yeah, I think that's an easy one.
I think it's his time to go. You're not getting rid of Topper. He just signed a contract too.
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with that.
He's only through one more year. But
which is fine. He's got a great winning percentage. There's some issues with the playoffs, but a lot of that, there's so much that does go wrong in the postseason with this team the last 2 years that, to everyone's point, you can't just say like, oh, well, let's get a new manager. We'll be okay. Like, these guys are some of the best at their positions when they're on fire, when they're killing it. So it makes it even more frustrating that it's like, well, what the fuck? Like, what else is there to do? Bring in Juan Soto and hope that you have another expensive bat to help everybody out. Like, that's not... This team needs some kind of juice.
So we'll see what they end up doing, but I have a feeling that's going to be what they end up doing.
They'll definitely be in on him, yeah.
I don't know if he's going to want to come here. I think he likes New York, if they want to keep him, but I don't know.
We'll see. I mean, that'll be a different story for a different day.
But then you bring another blockbuster guy like Juan Soto in, but how does that help?
You're still not developing players. That's I mean, at the fulcrum of all this. Go ahead.
Speaking of, if you're talking about, wanting to replace Alec Bohm or whatever, like, I guess at this point you just gotta hope that Aiden Miller comes to save us all. It's like
I forgot about him. Yeah.
And then as far as the rotation, hopefully you'll have Andrew Painter next year. He's going to be playing in the Arizona Fall League. So
he won't be throwing more than probably 100 innings next year, though.
Yeah, we'll see.
At least you get him up to in the big leagues, that'll be all right.
I mean, you figure if you can get him up to 100 innings in the following year, you can kind of take the training wheels off.
Yeah, I mean, if he was your fifth starter, give him
it's not the end of the world.
Put him on a conservative pitch count throughout the season,
You know what they needed this season? They needed Derek Hall back up here, my man.
Yeah.
Your boy.
Bring him some juice.
Is he even still in the organization?
Yeah, I think he played his last game. I think his last game with the Reading, whoever, the Iron Pigs, whoever the fuck they are, he hit like a home run, and that was it. I think they lost.
Good for him.
He lost, though, I think.
But I think I've exhausted all my Phillies takes. Do I have anything else worth saying written down here?
I also think, I have one last thing. I think we have to get over the whole shtick of, 4 hours of hell. People hate coming here. They've lost that fucking thing.
No, yeah. Oh, yeah. So
I think it's done.
I mean, that died after game one when they've lost 3 playoff home games in a row.
Yeah. I mean, obviously it's a great atmosphere and all that, but ultimately it doesn't translate to winning games. I guess another tragic thing about this series is because that game 2 was incredible. Could have been like an all-time franchise win, but because the way the rest of the series gone,
you'll forget all about it.
Now be lost in time like tears in rain.
Yeah,
yeah. It was a great day though. Birthday game, I'll take that. I'll remember that. But, oof.
Oh, I was screaming at the homeless guy at Avenue Steaks. This was so funny. I was so drunk, dude.
Bad.
I walked up to Avenue Steaks. I ordered my food, and Trevor, you know this. They got the TVs outside, so I sit down. And, there's no one else there except this, grimy-looking homeless dude. He's watching the TV, but I don't know if he really knows what's going on. So I start screaming.
He's just seeing shapes.
I'm like, what? You see that? You see that? He's like, yeah. He's with, his gums hanging out, no teeth. He's just like, yeah. So then the Phillies start doing good. I'm screaming, let's go. He's like, what happened? What happened? I'm like, let's fucking go. I'm just losing my mind. I think this was after... I forget what had happened.
See, if I was that homeless guy, I would have tried to take advantage of the moment. And be
like,
woo, yeah, come on, like, give me $5. Yeah, let's go.
Oh, you would have been like, yeah, where are my $5?
Who's got 20? Who's got 20 for the Phils?
So then I realized pretty quickly, it's like, yo, this guy has no idea what's going on. He's probably never watched a baseball game. So I'm like, dude, do you know what's happening? It's like, yeah, let's go. And I was just like, all right, he just does not have any clue. It was funny though.
That's awesome.
And then I got my honey. What is that cheesesteak?
Honey barbecue cheesesteak.
The honey barbecue cheesesteak.
Yeah.
I sat down. I didn't start eating it, but I sat down. Then what do you call it? Vientos hit that second home run. I got up. I shouted some profanities. There were a bunch of people around at this point. And I just started walking. And then I was walking home. And then I was listening to it on the radio in my earbuds. And then the Casty hit happened. And I was screaming in the streets. I was walking down, I think I was on 5th Street at this point. I was just screaming, hell yeah. Yeah. People couldn't hear the game or anything. They probably thought I was losing my mind. They probably thought I was schizophrenic or had Tourette's or something. I was just losing my mind after that.
Yeah, it was nuts. I mean, that was a great back and forth game, but that's when the actual offense looked like they could actually play and hit the ball. That was the one time,
whole series.
So I thought, okay, we'll go to New York. We'll keep it close. No big deal. And Nola had a decent game, and I felt like we were in it. But, the whole stick of Citizens Bank is so hard to play in. That shit is long gone.
Yeah. Yeah, Citi Field. My dream came true, except I wasn't there. Last pod, I said I had a dream. I did have this dream, actually. You missed this. So I had a dream after we found out we were playing the Mets that I was at Citi Field for Game 4 and we were going to lose the series. And in the dream, we lost the series and Mets fans were giving me the business, calling me a loser, saying Phillies sucked, telling us to go home, this, that, and the other. Don't you know we lost in Game 4?
You got to stop dreaming like that then. What the fuck? That's your fault.
Sometimes my dreams be good.
You got to change that mojo. It's a dream. You can be like, never mind, we're going to turn this around. I'm going to win this thing.
Well, no, I woke up once I realized I couldn't fix it.
Damn. Well, thanks, Avery.
Don't blame me. Blame the Phillies. But anyway, I've exhausted all my Phillies energy. Let's get to the Flyers. They start on Friday.
Flyers do start on Friday. Big things happening.
Yeah,
Jett Luchanko is officially on the team.
It's like, that's my boy. That ain't your boy. You wanted him to sent down.
I don't like this reversal that's going on because I was the one defending the draft pick at the time, and you were all like, no. Now you're like, oh, he's my boy. Oh, okay. I see how it is.
I didn't know who he was. Did you know who he was when they drafted him?
Hell yeah, I knew who he was.
Read a couple things after they drafted him. I didn't know who he was when they drafted him, but
I know who this.
In the ensuing hours, I read some tweets.
But then you were
educated myself.
But now you're mad he made the team.
I'm not mad he made the team. Okay. I'm skeptical. I hope it turns out well. We'll see.
I think he's going to bring some much needed energy to his team. He's fast as hell.
He is fast as hell. That's one of the things he's really good at.
Who else on this team can skate like that? Jamie Drysdale, probably. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, probably not quite as fast, but yeah.
Yeah, he's not even as fast, but Konechny's...
You have to love a guy named Jett who's really fast.
Konechny's pretty fast cool. too, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, you have 3 guys that you would say are plus skaters on this team, and that he's one of them, right? Yeah, so I'm excited about it. Do you think he goes more than the 9-game audition?
I guess a week ago I was saying I don't think so, but I'm starting to think he will. Just because I don't know. I mean, I think that it's going to get to the point where, unless he's just awful, which I don't think he's going to be awful, but I think as long as he doesn't look lost out there, I kind of think it's just a matter of the coaching staff convincing the front office that they should keep him, because from their perspective, I think it's their centers suck.
Yeah,
their center depth anyway sucks. I mean, we'll see if Couturier can rebound this year, but beyond that, I mean, it's. Morgan Frost showed you some things last year, but certainly don't have 3 really strong centers. And I think one of the big reasons they stuck with him is because that was such a position of need. And if you're the coaching staff, you want to win games, that's your job. So, I think it'll just be a matter of how much weight Torts carries in that that triumvirate of him and Briere and Brent Flair or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of get the feeling that Torts really wants him to stick around, just because, like, Torts is all about pace. Torts is all about that energy, right? And I think Jett Luchanko brings that element to, like you said, none of the other centers do it. I mean, Couturier is kind of slow. Morgan Frost is a decent playmaker, but he's not the fastest skater in the world, right? So, yeah, I mean, I think Torts is really going to want him to stick around. I don't know. I think he's going to end up playing most of the season. I do.
Yeah.
I do.
And they have him on the second power play.
Yeah,
you assume that he's going to be killing penalties.
He's going to be good on the PK.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Imagine him, right, on the PK when someone blocks a shot and he starts skating and they dump a pass up to him ahead. That's a breakaway every time as fast as he is, dude. That's a goal waiting to happen. I don't think he's going to score that many goals because his shooting probably needs improvement. And, like, as far as creating his own shots and chances, I don't expect a lot of an 18-year-old, but he's going to make some action happen. I think he's going to be good on the PK and the power play. I'm excited. I think Jett Luchanko is going to be good, dude. And if he's
it's definitely exciting. I mean, obviously, like the main attraction this year is Mishkov, but it is nice that you have another guy that
you got two rookies.
Give you some intrigue, especially since this time last year we thought that this season was going to be like the Cutter Gauthier season.
That is true.
Saw how that went. So at least
is true.
We have two. We have two forwards to watch. So that's something.
Yeah, Cutter. Wow, I forgot about that. And then we got Kolosov. He's probably gonna get to play a little bit too.
Yeah, he's. I guess they settled their differences, and he's gonna go into the Phantoms.
But he's definitely gonna be up in the NHL this year once someone gets hurt.
Once someone gets hurt, yeah.
Or Fedotov or Urson.
Or if Fedotov's just awful. Yeah, we'll see.
I think Urson's gonna puck out though, dude. He's gonna puck out.
Yeah.
Now I'm excited. I'm very excited for the Flyers, as evidenced by my hoodie that I'm wearing today. You know what I mean? I'm not thrilled about this West Coast trip, dude.
It's every year.
It's wild.
Why do they do it to us every
annoying.
single year? I can't remember the last time they didn't start the season on the West Coast. It's like every fucking year.
Yeah, it's been at least for the last 5.
I don't know what the deal is, but whatever.
Yeah, 4 games in 7 nights.
I'm probably not even. I'm going to be doing shit in Nashville. I'm probably not even going to be able to watch it Friday night.
Be at the bachelor.
I'm going to be doing shit.
We might watch it during the bachelor party, but
I'll get some updates on my phone and shit. But I'll probably have to just watch the highlights later. But another thing I'll bring up, speaking of Kolosov and the goalies, is fucking Yegor Zavragin. Or another goalie prospect over in the KHL has been like really fucking good so far this year. He's only 19 years old.
We drafted him last year, right? Or 2 years ago at this point.
Maybe 2 years ago, yeah. But he was on loan to Sochi. He just got recalled by the SKA team.
So now he's picking it up.
Our friends, the SKA team. But so far, I'm not sure how many games they played over there, but he's rocking a 941 save percentage. Which I think has been like setting records for like a U22 goalie. And some people are saying that he arguably is the best goalie prospect in the world right now. We'll see how it holds up. But I mean, considering how much of a gut punch it was losing Carter Hart in such a shitty way, you're like, man, like our goalie situation is just fucked. Like we thought we had our franchise guy, and he turns out to be a fucking creepo. And
it's true.
But now it's like between Urson looks like it, I think it remains to be seen how he holds up for a whole year being the number one guy. We'll see how that turns out. But we finally have Kolosov over here. Whatever differences they have with the front office seems to have been smoothed over. That was another guy we thought maybe we were gonna lose. And
he's good too. Like, and his pedigree's pretty high.
Yeah, he's highly thought of. And then we got this guy. So they have they have some guys in the pipeline. So you figure one of these guys,
someone's got to pan out.
Someone's got to fucking pan out.
Yeah, we'll have our first good goalie since Ron Hextall.
But yeah, it is funny that we're just loading up on all these Russian guys.
Of all teams,
the Flyers,
all teams,
the team that beat the Red Army is now the Russian prospect factory. But hey, I'll take it, man.
Yo, speaking of Russian prospects, I was looking at Mishkov's over-under in points. You know what it is?
Like 59.5, something like that.
Lower. You got to guess?
I got nothing.
48.5. He's going to destroy that.
Yeah, I think he could reach that.
Yeah, so
might be a good bet.
I think he's going to get to. So, what do you think Bedard finished with last year?
I mean, such a bad team.
I would say
probably like
39.
Probably somewhere around there, like 40-ish.
Bedard finished with, in 69 games, he finished with 22 goals, 41 assists, 63 points.
Oh, wow, okay.
He had a lot of assists to carry that.
Yeah.
On a bad team, I'm wondering where those assists are coming from. I would imagine a lot of those are probably secondary, where it's just he touched the puck or something. But
yeah,
what I'm saying, so I don't know how many games Michkov's going to play. You never know that. Injuries could happen. Torts could lose his mind and scratch him for a couple games and piss off everyone else in the franchise. I think he finishes with at least 25 goals and at least 35 assists. I'm saying he finishes with at least 60 points, dude. He's a 48.5 over-under.
I thought the over-under was going to be like 59.5. So, yeah, if he gets 60, that's right there.
That's disrespectful.
We should be setting the fucking
line.
line.
You did nail that, yeah.
What the hell is that? 48.5?
Yeah.
That's funny as shit.
I checked today.
He's number one in the Calder odds, I believe.
It's either him and I didn't check that, actually. You know what? I should check that.
Yeah.
Unless you can probably check it quicker than I can.
Yeah. You guys keep talking. I'll find it.
But yeah, I think that Michkov's going to make such a difference on this team, man. Even the preseason games, you kind of were seeing it.
He just has that energy that you haven't seen in a minute. And he's exciting to watch. He's quick. He's smart. I mean, he's really smart. He does he plays aggressive, and he plays kind of with a, I don't know what I'm trying to think of the word right now, but reckless abandonment almost. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he has that little bit of like,
he's a dog.
I'm just going to go do it real quick. Chirping at people, getting into fights, and it felt good to see other guys backing him up too right away. Yeah, when
Coots was ready to fight, Coots of all people is ready to fight.
Which the team hasn't had anybody to like really, I feel like they haven't had anybody to rally behind or want to get excited about fighting for or anything like that, where I feel like it's nice to know that the locker room knows that he's a highly touted addition to the team, and you're not going to do that in preseason unless you've seen as a team, like, okay, no, this dude's different. Yeah. Which is exciting to see as a fan.
Yeah. I think the team has responded really well to him. I think he's responded really well to the team. He's clearly responded really well to Philly.
He seems like he's not an asshole, which is great. You get all that pressure. English. Yeah. You're coming in and they're pretty much glorifying you as like the new hot shot, like big kid on campus and all this shit, but you're still a kid. And you might be highly skilled, but you are dealing with grown men in that locker room and in the NHL in general. But the fact that he kind of seems pretty calm and cool and collective off the ice, it's good to know that you got a good guy in there, not like some dickhead or some shit like that.
On DraftKings, they have Calder odds are Matvei Michkov leading the way at plus 275, followed by Macklin Celebrini at plus 500.
Oh, wow.
So that's
a pretty big gap.
Comfy lead there.
Okay.
I mean, that's obviously before the season. Well, I guess the season has started, actually.
Yeah, but damn, all right.
Cutter Gauthier at plus 1,100. Yes.
Oh, that.
Fuck you.
Jesus.
Awful.
Yo, we do.
Imagine if we had both those guys, though.
But we got Jett now.
Yeah, where's Jett Luchanko on this fucking list?
But tickets for that Ducks game are expensive, though, right?
I would imagine. Yeah, I bought tickets for the home opener, and I think it was like that game and the Ducks game were both like expensive, and everything else was just cheap as shit.
Dude, people are gonna throw batteries at him like JD Drew.
Oh, you know what? Jett Luchanko is on the list here. He's at plus 5,000.
I was gonna guess.
Oh, sorry, I spoiled it, but
I was gonna guess like plus 8,000. Okay.
I mean,
but nah, man, I'm excited.
He's 12th in the odds.
Surprising. I think this is going to be a fun year. I've been saying
it'll be a fun year.
Yeah, it'll be interesting.
I don't know if they're going to, I don't know how it's going to turn out, but it'll be interesting. It'll be things happening.
Yeah.
So, which is...
He's about to say they're about to make the playoffs.
There hasn't been things happening in a while, so...
Well, I'm going to ask you all first. Playoffs?
I mean, as you all know, this is not my most highly aware team. I'm learning and getting better at the flyer stuff. However, I mean, based off of what you've all been saying about last season and how close they got for as long as they did.
The last game.
Withered away, and that's fine. But unless other teams in the NHL got, had a huge leap in growth, it seems as though the Flyers have kind of done all the right things for the most part to put themselves in a position where the playoffs aren't too far out of reach. I'm not going to say that I'm hopeful for it, but I don't think it's impossible. I think they have a pretty damn good shot to make the playoffs.
I mean, I think it's kind of just a coin flip, honestly.
Yeah.
I think it's.
If it came down to one game last year with all that shit that happened with that team, with the Carter Hart shit and moving people out of their thing and all that stuff, I mean, they seem more connected this year.
They've gotten better in some ways and maybe a little worse in some ways. I mean, last year you had my Sean
boy.
Walker,
yep, my boy,
kind of keeping that defense together. You had Carter Hart for a minute. Not to keep bringing back things, but it's just So I think to me, the big question in terms of not in terms of like long-term picture necessarily, but in terms of are they going to be good enough to make the playoffs? I think it really just comes down to how Samuel Ersson holds up over the course of the season. I think a lot of it's going to come down to the quality of the goaltending. I think he still has shown that he's capable of being a very good goaltender, but he hasn't really been tested over a full season getting that number one load. So we'll see how it turns. Yeah. Those number one loads.
Those number one loads, they'll get you every time, man. If you're not ready for it.
Number two load, that's one thing. But the number one, oof. But
load count is it's.
And last year some teams kind of underperformed. I think it'll be better this year, namely the Devils. So we'll see. I think they'll probably be like a bubble team, assuming people stay healthy. And could come down to that last game of the season again. Wouldn't be surprised.
Okay. Well, here's what I got to say, right?
Stanley Cup.
Judging by that smile, he's like about to go off.
I ain't going that far. But you got to realize, right? That power play was historically bad last year. Historically bad. Mm-hmm. At the same time, the penalty kill probably won't be as good as it was.
Yeah.
But special teams, I would think they're going to be a net positive over where they were last year. Did you watch these preseason games, seeing Mishkov on the power play, dude?
Yeah.
He was such a difference maker.
Yeah.
I think, I don't know hockey analytics. Well, what's the hockey equivalent of wins above replacement? Is there one?
I don't know if they, I'm sure they have something like that.
There's probably a VORP for hockey.
Yeah, I don't know.
Whatever it is, I think Mishkov's VORP, his WAR, if you will, it's very high, and I think that he's going to result in a few wins in and of itself. Ersson looked very good in the preseason. Understanding that it is preseason, you can't read too much into it. But also, I don't think that they're going to run him into the ground the way they did when he really started to struggle last year. You have Fedotov, you have Kolosov, right? And your backup isn't Cal Peterson.
Yeah.
Fedotov could suck, and he's probably better than Cal Peterson. I don't know how many games Cal Peterson started for the Flyers last year, but it was too many.
Yeah.
So, that helps you out a little bit. And then, I think that they're better than a lot of teams in the East. So, they're better than Columbus. I think we can all agree to that.
Yes.
Columbus will probably get a lift because Johnny Gaudreau, and they'll want to play good. This, that, and third, right? Pittsburgh, that window, if we're talking about the Phillies windows closing, Pittsburgh's window is cracked shut at this point.
Yeah.
I ain't scared of them. Washington, the same thing. I ain't scared of them.
They're declining, yeah.
The Islanders,
they're one of those enigmas. Dude, you never know.
They had 18, or not 18, they had a lot of overtime losses last year. They had a lot of overtime losses that could have gone either way.
Yeah.
They could have lost in regulation a lot of those games, right, if they're going to overtime. That team, they outperformed what I think a lot of their peripherals would say about them.
Yeah.
The Devils are the wild card, as you said, but
I expect them to be much better this year.
I think they're going to choke again, personally. I expect them to.
I wouldn't count on it. I hate to say it, but I wouldn't count on
it. We'll see. Then in the Atlantic, Buffalo's ass. Montreal's winning that game we were watching, but Montreal's ass. Let's be honest, they're rebuilding. Ottawa sucks. Detroit, they're also,
on the upturn. Yeah,
they're also kind of a wild card in this.
So I kind of like Detroit.
My point being is that there are a few wild cards that if the Flyers outperform the expectation, and these times either these teams either just are neutral or underperform, they're making the playoffs. What did I say a few weeks ago? 3 shots. I'm doing 3 shots at the end of the season, mid-April. You heard it here first on October 9th at 10:05 p.m. Flyers are making the playoffs, baby. Here we go.
Yeah. All right.
Well, you heard it here. So should we move on to them Birds?
Yeah.
There's nothing really to say about the Sixers, right? I mean,
not
McCain looked good.
He did look good.
Yeah.
I saw a little bit of those highlights. I love that
I watched most of that game, actually. It was kind of fun. Maxey looked great, dude.
Yeah, he was doing pretty good.
I do love that McCain can, pull off those, I don't know, there's a word for it. Those, the no-dip threes, yeah.
He was also pulling up from distance.
Quick stuff. Yeah.
So was that cat from France, too. He looked pretty good also.
Oh, yeah, Buscelli. Yeah. He's a big dude.
Yeah, he's good. He had like 16 points or something. Yeah.
Yeah, now they were fun. Andre Drummond hit a 3.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
They're just having fun out there.
I started cracking up when Andre...
Against, what team was that they were playing?
The New Zealand Breakers.
Oh, okay.
Okay, yeah. Well, that makes sense.
So, funny story. I was listening to a PHOI Sixers podcast, and they had the owner of the New Zealand Breakers on.
Oh, I listened to a little bit of that.
He's a Philly guy.
Yeah.
So that was kind of cool. Matt Walsh, he used to play for what Philly school? I don't remember. Maybe St. Joe's. I don't remember. But yeah, so I think he kind of pulled some strings to make that happen. But it was fun to see him back on the court. Beating Paul George in play. Maxey looked good. Jared McCain looked good. Yabusele looked good. Sixers have a bunch of preseason games coming up. They have, don't you know this? They have a back-to-back in the preseason.
What the fuck?
They have 3 games on 4 nights.
I guess if you just play completely different player. I guess that happens sometimes in hockey, and you just have a completely different team.
That's stupid. It's just, if you're so concerned about player safety, especially a guy like Embiid, who probably is going to play a preseason game anyway, but if you're so concerned about player safety...
I don't understand preseason in basketball, because... There's no roster spots up for grabs at that point, right?
There kind of are.
You kind of have
maybe
a set,
like one.
Yeah, but
there's like the 14th and 15th guy, probably.
But you need to have a whole preseason for that shit, though? Yeah.
I feel like hockey, there's a lot of things that are up in the air, and you're trying to figure some things out with some guys.
Football,
there's definitely some people fighting for jobs.
90 to 70
Yeah,
to 53.
There's a lot of guys fighting for jobs in football. Basketball, is it really what are we doing here?
You have a couple roster spots to decide, but also you want the players to ramp up. I kind of get it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Why they're playing the New Zealand Breakers is beyond me. It's like when they played the team from China a few years ago, and Ben Simmons made a 3. You remember that?
Yeah.
But anyway, we'll have plenty of more Sixers talk coming up here. But
yeah, once it gets closer,
it'll be exciting.
But them birds are back. The bye is over. We are playing football on Sunday.
The Birds are back in town.
The
playing
Birds
the Browns.
are back in town.
Yeah, man. I don't know. My whole prediction of this season has definitely gone a little bit haywire now, but it's not impossible.
Yeah, I think
so.
They just gotta go.
They gotta go
12-1.
Yeah, which impossible.
Starts now.
Impossible, some may say, but not improbable. So it could happen.
Yeah.
And you got to start off with the Browns. If they lose to the Browns, then I'm done.
If they lose to the Browns, that's horrible.
But this team hasn't really shown us, any kind of really anything to be excited about. I mean, they have wins. They're 2-2, so that's like, woohoo. But
I got some stuff. Go on.
I don't have anything right now that's giving me any inclination of this being a deep playoff run team. I think that, injuries was a muck for the first 4 weeks. So if this is our span of having a banged up team, then that's great. But, having a week 5 bye is a blessing and a curse, right? You're good to get those guys healed up. You get A.J. Brown back, Devontae and Lane Johnson back. Maybe a couple more weeks of practice with the new coordinators and, I don't know, recalibrate with Sirianni. But, You come out and play the Browns at home and you beat them by, 2 points, or it's a 20, weird 18-15 game or a 21-17 game. You're fucked. You got to come out here after this bye and dominate this game.
Yeah, the line on this game.
You have to fucking line, whatever. You got to be up there I'm talking 38, 40, 41 to maybe 17. You got to crush this team.
Yeah, I mean, the Eagles are favored by 9 points. This team, as bad as they looked 2 weeks ago, be favored by 9 points over anyone. You have to come out and just throttle them.
Yeah.
They need to. I mean, and even if even if they do come out and they do have a great win, I'm still not ready to accept the team as what they are. I mean, Hurts has a lot of issues he's got to work through. Sirianni has to figure the fuck out what his job even is. The defense, you go from 1 week stopping the hottest offense in football. Granted, it's only 2 weeks in, so we'll take that with a grain of salt. But they looked great. They looked like they could beat anybody against the Saints. And you come out in Tampa, and you could have lost to fucking St. Joe's Prep out there. It's just there's no consistency with this team yet.
Yeah. I think the bye week probably was good for them in that sense, though.
If they turn out that they actually did something, I don't know. We've seen them take breaks and they come out and they're the same team.
I'm pretty sure Nick Sirianni is undefeated after the bye. It's no Andy Reid after the bye, but I'm pretty sure he's after the bye last year was the game against KC.
We had that gauntlet after that. We had KC, we had Miami, I get it, but still, at least before KC, we were still undefeated. Maybe we were 10-1 or whatever we were.
Had we lost a game? We had lost a game somewhere.
Okay, so we had
lost against the Jets last year by then. Right.
Okay, so we were 10-1 or 9, whatever, 8-1, whatever it was. Yeah. We had. It's just it's not the same team.
No, it's not.
There's no identity. There's no dog. There's no really direction with this team right now from what we've seen. So this is a big week, I think, coming out of this bye.
They are getting healthy. I think the one thing I'm looking forward to is obviously AJ Brown coming back. I mean, when was going into the season, the one game where they looked really good and they put up points and it looked like you were actually watching Kellen Moore's offense and it was interesting and dynamic, was the one game that AJ Brown played in. Yeah. And the games that he has not played in, it's looked very dull and kind of like you were watching last year's offense. And so you hope that getting him back and also getting Devontae back, getting Lane back, that it's going to start to look a little more like what they were hoping it'd look like. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess we'll see how it goes, but I think the combination of getting all those guys back, and that they've had an extra week to prepare, they should shellac this team. And I feel like anything short of, if they eke out a win, I think we're still pretty worried.
Yeah,
they got to beat them good.
Maybe score some points in the first quarter, because they haven't scored in the first quarter all season.
Yeah, that's terrible. They legit.
It's time to score in the first quarter.
It's time to do something. And
that Cleveland defense is all right though now.
That's what I'm saying. It's still Jim Schwartz over there, so it's not any joke.
Do love Jim Schwartz. I miss him.
I think he's a great coordinator, and you still got it's a great defense there. You got the reigning, wasn't he defensive player of the year last year too? Myles Garrett, and Lane Johnson's coming back from a concussion. He's still a beast, but.
And he'll bounce around.
You can move him around wherever he wants to go.
He'll be on Mailata. He'll be on Juergens. He'll be all over the center, the place. Yeah.
So, will Hurts... I don't know. I think Hurts is a big question. And,
I saw you came out today and said, I think it was today or maybe yesterday, that this was the most efficient bye week.
Yeah. He said him and Sirianni had many great moments.
Yeah, he got the memo. He got the memo.
He was definitely PR coached up for this. It's like Jalen, don't say anything bad about Nick. Don't say anything bad about Nick. It's all they've been talking about.
Don't get too fucking introspective here with these comments either.
And on radio, on TV, it's all they've been talking about. Nothing about you and Nick having some moments. Say it's all good.
Right.
Yeah.
So he was definitely coached up to say that. But all that aside, dude, I'm here to bring you a little positivity on the Birds. So as Trevor said, the 1 week that the offense looked good was with A.J. Brown. The offense looked bad last week. Who was out last week? Lane Johnson, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith. The only offensive weapon was
Britton
Saquon.
Covey was that. Don't forget him.
That's a sneaky loss. Dude, no, hold up. People made fun of me for this. That's a sneaky loss when you don't have AJ or Devontae.
Yeah, I mean...
who was Hurts throwing to a lot?
Right.
Britton Covey.
I know.
But, yeah, he's still out. They won't really miss him that much with AJ Brown. And presumably Devontae back. I've seen Devontae still in the protocol yet.
I think he still has but he was a full participant in practice today.
It's just NFL standards.
How the hell does that work? He can participate fully in a practice, but he's still in the protocol.
I guess you just, I don't know.
Maybe because of the severity of the hit. I don't know.
I think he just needs to be cleared to actually be in the game.
That doesn't make any sense. The NFL is dumb as hell with that.
I don't know.
I don't make the rules here. I just watch a game.
I hear you, same, and I don't get the rules. But what I'm saying is, I think this is the fullest the offense is going to be since week 1.
Definitely.
So yeah,
and healthiest.
Cleveland's defense is good, but coming off the bye, Nick Sirianni, for what it's worth, is good off the bye week. Players will be healthy. I think the Eagles are going to do pretty good offensively. Defensively, man, I'm not here to say that defensive performance against Tampa was not a disgrace, because it was. But you got to realize, man, 2 things. So the teams that the Eagles have played, they're 2-2. They've played 4 teams. Green Bay is 4th in offense. This is by DVOA. Atlanta is 9th. New Orleans is 11th. Tampa Bay is 13th. Every team that they've played is in the top half of the league in offense. In Green Bay's case, in Atlanta's case, they're top 10. Mm-hmm. Right? So the defense does need to get it together. Like, the pass rush can't be non-existent. But they've also had a tough schedule defensively. The other thing I'll mention too, 2 things I'll mention, is my boy Avonte Maddox is getting benched.
Thank fucking God.
Yeah, I gave you your flowers last week. You didn't even listen to the pod.
Not always, you know what I mean?
Yeah, he's getting benched for Cooper DeJean. We'll see what Cooper DeJean can do. And also, this has been something people have said about Fangio defenses, is it usually takes a few weeks for players to really catch on to the concepts. Like, I don't have statistics to back this up. I heard this, I think Bo Wolf might have said this on the PHLY Eagles podcast, but he had said something to the effect of, yeah, that's kind of been a known thing throughout the years with Miami, Denver, and previous Fangio stops, that it takes like half a season for the team to really catch on. So maybe this bye week was a chance for the players to really kind of study the playbook and understand the defense.
I think so. I don't think that, and again, too, like, I think it kind of sucks that the Saints game was like, oh, it looked like it finally clicked and they knew what they were supposed to be doing. But then you go to the conditions, and I'm not going to place the whole loss and their whole performance against the weather. However, it definitely had an impact on our players.
Yeah,
and like, I know that both teams play in, they're both playing that same day. However, we're not practicing there all day. We're not training in the heat all day. They're not doing all that down there. So you could see guys with just especially when your defensive line is Jordan Davis and Jalen Carr. Like, they're not the most athletic they're not built for humidity for that long of time. They played at Georgia, but they played in a dome. Like, they weren't playing out there in the heat all day.
Yeah, they're not Vita Vea where they're used to practicing.
Right. And like, you could see the difference of, like, they were gassed by the second, plus they were out there the whole time too. So
yeah,
I would hope that.
Yeah, Carter had the one play where he like passed out.
Yeah.
That was scary.
I know. I would hope that they, you're back in Philly, get a little grounded here. You had a week to reset. I'm looking forward to a great win. I just am not expecting, I'd be happy if they blow them out, but I don't know, man. It's been a weird first 4 weeks, which is what we're not used to. We're used to, the last 2 years, 10-0 every year.
Yeah.
So, like, you come out 2-2, you're like, oof, I don't,
So you mean to tell me you're scared of Deshaun Watson?
Yeah, speaking of, they are playing against Deshaun Watson, who Stephen A. had some things to say about.
Deshaun Watson is awful. It's so awful that if somebody wanted to arrest him for being awful, I would accept it. It's that bad.
I love how he says awful.
No, I'm not afraid of Deshaun Watson.
They should, yeah.
It's just the team. It's the birds are just.
So that he's like, he should be arrested for playing quarterback bad, not any of those other things.
Right. Not the 25 women that were like, not the woman that he paid off too. Like, what?
And they continue to start him because of the owner right? I've been hearing.
I think it's
like,
we paid all this money for this guy.
The owner's like, yeah, I'm paying him, so you have to play him.
Essentially.
Jameis Winston has to be better than him at this point, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, if not
Jameis Winston's not even that good.
But he's a good man. He's a good person, at least. He'll give you some good.
Maybe the past week.
Yeah.
Yo, we talked about this during the fantasy draft. That QB room is shot, dude.
Yeah.
The vibes in there probably stink.
It's just a weird QB room, is all it is. They should have kept Flacco.
Yeah, Flacco's in Indy now.
Killed it. 3 touchdowns last week.
Yeah.
From Flaccid to Flacco, dude. Who would have known?
Yeah, he's rocked up.
He's killing it. But yeah, I mean, we can get to this game.
But the Browns, you got what? Amari Cooper is your biggest thing, and Jerry Jeudy, And
they had, who's throwing them the ball? Deshaun Watson. They're not getting the ball.
Yeah, Cooper, you don't have a tough task, though, I bet you what.
Hold up. Your Cooper's Gene bet. You didn't bring your liquor. You didn't bring your shot. I
completely forgot.
That's 2 weeks. You didn't show up last week?
Well, I was sick last week, but I completely forgot about the bet. So I'll double down.
You told Reed Blankenship to get his bitch ass on the field when he said he was sick in Tampa.
Yeah, well, I'm not getting paid money to do that shit. This is all free. This is all just pro bono up in here.
Whatever, yo.
But I'll double down on the bet. I bet you he gets a pick this week.
So you'll do 2 shots if he gets a pick.
If he doesn't
if he doesn't get a pick, I got to do 2 shots. If he gets a pick, it negates my last bet.
Okay. Fair enough.
So I'll do 2 picks.
Fair enough.
The next week. Yeah, I think they have a chance. They have all the pieces and all the things to have a great game. However, as long as they don't beat themselves, they should be able to do that. But they've shown the last 4 weeks, injuries or not, that their execution has been poor, that their clock management has been poor, their just overall scheme has been poor. So if they don't get in their own way, they could definitely blow out the Browns at home. I could definitely see they get a nice bye week, you're good to go. However, they also have a very good chance to just do stupid shit like they've been doing. 2-2, they've looked worse than a 2-2 team.
Yeah.
They could easily be 4-0, but they could very much easily be 0-4. And this team hasn't shown which path they want to take yet. What's our identity? Do the coach and the quarterback have a good relationship? Does everybody know the scheme on offense and defense? I don't fucking know, but they got to figure that shit out soon. And this week is a great week to do it. You got a bye week, sort it out, put all those things to bed. This is the game to put that on.
So what's your prediction? What you got?
I'm going to go 27-24.
27-24?
Yeah. I don't trust this team right now.
Good God damn.
I don't trust it right now. I would be delighted to get surprised with a blowout, but I don't feel it.
I was going to say 27-17 Eagles.
Okay. So what I think
cover
is the Eagles' next 4 opponents are 5-15. After this, we get the Giants, we get the Jags and the Bengals, or maybe it's the Bengals and the Jags, I forget. So the Eagles, this is Nick Sirianni's chance to save his job. This is their chance to kind of climb up the NFC standings. Washington's looking pretty good. The Cowboys are looking so-so. The Giants are looking like the Giants, like they look every year. So the Eagles need to capitalize on this opportunity. That said, I think Jim Schwartz, man, he knows how to coach up a defense. He's going to be going after that ball, trying to force Hurts to fumble, be trying to force some turnovers. I think it's going to be a closer game than the line would indicate. -9's huge. I know
Cleveland, that is a huge line.
Cleveland's offense is ass, but the Eagles haven't done anything to make people believe they can blow anyone out.
Not
they
at all.
haven't blown anyone out since the Miami game almost a calendar year ago. Right? So I think it's going to be a closer game than the line would indicate. I do think that because we're at home, because Deshaun Watson sucks, we win. I wouldn't be surprised if the Browns finally make the decision to play Jameis Winston a little bit, just because you can't continue to watch Deshaun. I think we win 21-14.
Okay.
Because I think they're going to force a couple of turnovers in the red zone.
Mm-hmm.
We're prone to those anyway, whether they force them or not. We're going to do some dumb shit, and it's going to be a red zone turnover. Otherwise, I would say like 29-14, 32-14. But we're going to do something dumb a couple times.
I think if it was the previous 2 years, I would definitely put it in a 10+ range of victory. But this team just hasn't shown any offensive life like that. Yeah, they look great with A.J. Brown, but even that game was close as shit. Like they weren't
It's against a better team, but yeah.
And that's fine, but if the defense had a little bit, then they did do well in the first half. I'm not knocking that, but the team just hasn't shown like the juggernaut that they used to be. And I feel like we had so much expectation about this offense coming in with A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Goddard being healthy, Saquon Barkley. We're like, oh my God, this team's going to put up so many points. And, they just haven't yet. So we'll see. Cautiously optimistic, but I'm a realist right now. I don't see it being a blowout. But I'd be happy to tune in on 1 o'clock and watch that shit go down.
Yeah, I'm gonna be very hungover coming off of Dean's bachelor party.
I'll be coming over.
You'll be coming from the wedding, Trevor. You're still gonna be in Nashville yet?
Nashville, baby.
The bachelorette capital of the world. You excited?
I'm gonna be at I'm gonna be at the country rock and roll country music Hall of Fame.
Oh yeah,
that's where like the reception is.
Are you going to Kid Rock's bar?
We probably will. Yeah.
Hell yeah, you got to drink. Do they serve Bud? They definitely don't serve Bud Light there.
I think he made a statement saying that they don't serve Bud Light there.
Yeah,
I thought so.
Yeah.
What other beers are like very pro-gay? You got to walk in there with a can of one of these beers and see what happens.
Well, I don't think you can really walk into any bar with a can of anything.
Yeah, it's not like
pretty
it's not like New Orleans.
I think that's pretty frowned upon no matter what.
It's not like
New Orleans. You can.
I don't think you can walk into another bar.
Anything that's not a glass bottle.
You probably could.
You can walk on the street, but you can't walk into another bar.
In New Orleans, you could probably walk in with a can.
And they'll just be like, finish it.
Yeah.
And then order something.
At Kid Rock's bar, if you walk in with a Bud Light, they might shoot your ass.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
Give you a little kiss.
Yeah.
And they're not giving you a kiss in Kid Rock's bar.
I'm just messing.
Yeah. But there's a few celebrity bars there that I think.
Who else? Oh, Dolly Parton probably got a bar.
Yeah, something like that. And then
how y'all feel about Dolly Parton?
She's got some classics.
I love it, Dolly Parton.
I like Dolly Parton. Yeah, she gave all that
cool.
money to
9 to
North
5.
Carolina.
Hell, dude.
9 to 5 working class anthem.
She donated $1 million to North Carolina for the hurricane relief stuff, and then her foundation, which was run by her, but she matched her own donation with that, so it was $2 million.
She's cool as hell.
Yeah, she's great.
One of the best old white ladies in the world, dude.
She's fantastic.
Her and Mother Teresa. Mother Teresa, is she alive?
I don't think so.
No, she's been dead.
I think she's been dead for quite some time.
Well, Mother Teresa was a great old white lady, and so was Dolly Parton.
Is she a saint?
No.
She's a mother.
Mother Teresa.
Yeah, she's a mother. She's a nun.
Yeah.
She's dead. She's dead. Yeah,
so
she gotta be dead.
Speaking of upstanding great guys like Kid Rock and Deshaun Watson, have you guys seen this John Gruden shit?
And what's he doing now?
He's doing he just makes these videos talking about the NFL and shit and post them on TikTok and just let me play this and it's fucking crazy.
This seems like it's gonna be toxic.
Hold on.
Shredded the defense. I mean, just ripped them. That's what has me feeling really nicey. Like watching Jared Goff go 18 for 18, 292 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Got me feeling icy.
I couldn't do that pregame warm-up. Jaden Daniels, just a rookie. 26 out of 30, 87%, 231 yards.
What?
He rushes for 47. He's doing everything. Shredded, baby.
He always plays
he figured out how sampling works.
He looks he's just sitting in the dark.
Yeah, just sitting in this dark room.
He's losing his mind, dude. He got that CTE going on.
He ain't right. He is not right at all.
Chucky.
He looks like he's filming this from Russ Cole's storage unit.
Heat him up, Mayfield. Keep shredding them, baby. Sam
let's talk about our
game. Would be 4-0, 275 yards.
Does he do this for every game?
Go to Lambeau.
Every good quarterback game, I guess.
Keep it rolling, Sam. Shred him.
He's a nut, man. Isn't he a coach somewhere?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. I
feel like he's like an advisor or something. He is something weird.
If he's a coach, if my coach was doing that shit just on the...
There's other videos where he's previewing games and he just has a whiteboard that's just completely filled with just shit. This looks unhinged.
Yeah, he looks like he needs to go to a hospital.
Football guy, dude.
Yeah,
that's a concussion uncle if I've ever seen one.
The fact that he's in the pitch black basement somewhere just doing this shit,
Just posting TikToks of him just sampling random beats. Or the same random beat, not
the
even
same
random
one over and over again.
Just the same one.
Yeah. The other thing we gotta, I feel like we haven't done like a, TV show thing in a while, but I've seen some clips from the Aaron Hernandez show.
Oh, y'all were talking about this the other day.
Dude, yeah, I feel like maybe we should put in the time and watch those. And
where's that on? Netflix?
I think it's on Hulu. I think it's an FX show, maybe.
I'm down.
I think it's on Hulu.
I'm down.
I'll
I'll figure out when
Yeah.
I'll have time the next couple of weeks. It's not that many episodes, right?
Yeah, I think there's like 4 out right
I
now.
should have watched that every day this week at 5:05. It'd have been a lot better to spend time.
Yeah. Yeah, but I watched like one scene of it where they're in the war room and they're about to draft Aaron Hernandez, and just the guy who plays Belichick and then is hilarious, and then the dude who plays Robert Kraft comes in, and it's just so it looks like people that you would get to play these people in like an SNL sketch, It's just
is it as bad as the Lakers show one?
It looks so much worse.
Oh god,
yeah, we didn't even watch the Clippers one.
Oh yeah, we never watched the Clippers one. I haven't even heard anything about that.
Oh, I did watch that one.
Did you watch the Clippers one?
We watched a lot of it, and it is.
How's Lawrence Fishburne as Doc Rivers?
Actually,
does he do as good of a Doc as
I doubt he does.
He's not bad. I'll tell you what, though.
Yeah.
Okay.
Could be worse.
But yeah, I totally forgot about that show. I mean, I haven't even heard.
We got 3 episodes in, and then we just stopped watching it.
Yeah,
it's not
it seemed like one of those shows that wasn't that good and wasn't so bad that it's worth watching for fun.
Yeah.
Just kind of whatever.
Yeah, the Hernandez one does seem like it'd be so bad that it's hilarious.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I saw one clip today too where it was Gronk makes an appearance.
Oh god,
that was pretty good. But yeah, we should check that out maybe.
I'm committed to.
Marlon's been watching it, so maybe we get him.
I know he loves Belichick.
We did, maybe a follow up to the 80 for Brady episode.
Mm-hmm.
We can do the
Marlon, we'll get your ass back
Aaron
on
Hernandez show. All right, well, I think that'll just about do it for us here tonight, everybody. Thank you for listening and tuning in. Please leave us a 5-star rating and review over to your podcast. Give us a subscribe on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Send us an email, citywidepod@gmail.com. And from all of us here at the Citywide, good morning, good afternoon, good night.
Peace.
Fuck the Mets.